This episode of The Reasons I'm Broke is brought to you by Audible.
Sign up today and get a free 30-day trial along with your choice of an audiobook. That's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
Over 150,000 titles to choose from, all available on your Kindle, Android, and iPhone.
Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelli.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. The way we format our show is first we start out with some news, again ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. And we follow up with our comic book pool list of the week.
This is us coming back after a week break due to Omni Expo, Florida's very own Omni Expo, which we will cover later on today. But we do have a range of topics, anime, a lot of video games, and movie news, especially these last 2 weeks. So much to catch up on. And on the comic book side, DC's number ones. I think that's what you and I were more excited for, more so than Convergence.
Definitely more so than Convergence. So first off, we are going to start out with some anime news. In the Pokemon anime department, there will be a 1-hour Pikachu special titled Pocket Monsters XY Pikachu the Movie 1-hour special.
That'll obviously be what it's called here in North America as well. That's not just a direct translation.
They're not going to rename it like Pikachu's Day or something like that.
So this will feature a story in which an old man asks Ash's Pikachu to star in a movie.
That sounds kind of dangerous there.
There will be several segments to this 1-hour special, and it will feature cosplay luchador Pikachu.
Hey Pikachu, you want to star in a movie? Real shady. So there is no word yet on a North American release, but obviously there will be a North American release.
I just don't know if they're going to release it as a movie theater special, like before one of the direct-to-DVD movies, or maybe they'll do it as a television special, direct-to-television movie, maybe. It is an hour long again. Yeah. They could also break it up if it's like episode... they can do 2 of those segments in a half an hour. I don't know how long each one is, but that's another way in which it could work.
I would like to see them put it up online like they did with the Red and Blue special that they did. Was it last year?
Pokemon Origins,
yeah.
Yes, it was last year.
I would love to see them do that. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but it will show up here.
This is a special made especially for you. Like
yes.
They looked at your favorite Pokemon of all time, and they said, let's make an entire 1-hour thing of it.
And then they added this old man to make it uncomfortable.
They couldn't make it too perfect for you. They had to throw in a wrench in there.
Put on this mask, Pikachu. Whoa, old man, calm down. I am so excited for this, though. Yes, Pikachu is my favorite Pokemon. And yes, Luchador Pikachu is my favorite cosplay Pikachu. So it's just all my favorite things. And I'm sure the old man will not be creepy. But I really hope he is.
We also have another new animated series coming our way. Dentsu Entertainment and Man of Action Entertainment have teamed up to bring a brand new 26-episode-long Mega Man animated series.
I can't imagine how excited you are for this, because I remember you loved Mega Man.
What? I don't know where you're pulling that from.
You totally did, man. You got all the games. You don't remember?
Mega Man?
Yes.
No.
I swear you had like 2 games.
I own 0 Mega Man games.
That's not true.
You were thinking of Marvel vs. Capcom, in which it has Mega Man.
No, you had like a Game Boy Advance game.
You're thinking of Astro Boy, is who you're thinking of.
Well, I don't follow Mega Man, so...
You're like, beam cannon, arm, that's fucking Astro Boy, that's Mega Man.
It's the same thing. I swear you had a Mega Man game.
I've never once bought a Mega Man game in my life.
I swear you did.
I'm like those people from To Catch a Predator, like, I've never done this in my life.
Can I pull out a transcript of like your receipt where you bought this game and be like, well, it says right here that you wanted to blank is blank.
And stick this in your slot.
Man of Action has previously produced Ben 10, Generator Rex, and Ultimate Spider-Man.
The new series is set to release in 2017 to coincide with Mega Man's 30th anniversary.
First launched in 1987, Mega Man has generated over 130 video games, one of which I'm sure Dan owns. I'm positive, I swear.
So how do you feel about this? The makers of Ultimate Spider-Man, Generator Rex, Ben 10, all pretty successful cartoons.
I mean, yeah, I didn't like Ben 10. I never watched Generator Rex, but I liked Ultimate Spider-Man. And we've just discovered that you are a huge Mega Man fan.
No.
So I'm definitely going to watch it, definitely going to give it a shot, because it has a whole lot of potential.
If you had the choice, would you have made it more of an anime series as opposed to the Man of Action Entertainment Company making it? More the American look to it?
Not necessarily, because I think with the American look, it will draw in bigger crowds. Because there's still people who see anime and they aren't attracted to it.
I don't know. I kind of disagree a little bit, because maybe when we were kids, it was a little bit more of a, for lack of a better term, a foreign object as far as television goes, as far as cartoons go. Like, people would be like, I'm not really into anime. But now with Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, all of these animated series that have existed for years, that are now becoming a part of our culture, like Dragon Ball Z, you're seeing in American cartoons references to those things. I think it's a lot easier to put out an anime and have it more embraced by an American audience than it was when we were kids.
I would agree with that. I still think that they're going to get bigger audiences with this kind of animation, though.
I guess it would also depend on which company would make that Japanese-produced cartoon. Man of Action, they don't have the... If you watch Ultimate Spider-Man, it's the animation's okay. Like, if you look at the backgrounds, it's more like rendered concept art, and if they don't actually put out an actual painted background with even animated buildings most of the time, it looks a little bit like they just kind of, this is easiest, this is quick, we can pump out cartoons quicker. So I don't know, I'm a little skeptical on that.
With this, though, they are limiting themselves to 26 episodes, so they may put more effort into it than they did with the shows where it's, well, who knows how long it's going to go on for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true.
So continuing on with some television news, this is kind of controversial news, which is always our favorite. Christian nonprofit fundamentalist organization 1 Million Moms has launched a boycott against Fox and their fall 2015 TV series, Lucifer.
Based on the DC Vertigo comic book, the show will focus on the biblical demon as he leaves hell to live in LA.
Yeah!
Hijinks.
So 1 Million Moms are worried that the show will glorify Satan as a caring, likable person in human flesh.
And this wouldn't be the first time 1 Million Moms has gone after comic book media properties. In 2012, they went after both Marvel and DC for depicting gay characters in their books, movies, and television shows.
Neil Gaiman, who created the Sandman comic book universe from which Lucifer came from, took to Tumblr to respond to the boycott.
Quote, it seems like only yesterday that the Concerned Mothers of America announced that they were boycotting Sandman because it contained lesbian, gay, bi, and trans characters. It was Wanda that upset them the most. The idea of a trans woman in a comic book. They told us they were organizing a boycott of Sandman, which they would only stop if we wrote to the American Family Association and promised to reform. I wonder if they noticed it didn't work last time either. Oh, Neil Gaiman, you're the best.
Too funny. So, can I share some thoughts on this?
Go for it.
The first thing I want to comment on is how they are worried it will, quote, glorify Satan as a caring, likable person in human flesh. Can I please point out that in their religion, Satan is a caring, likable person in human flesh?
I did not know this.
Yes. The whole point of Satan is that he comes and deceives. So, of course, he's not going to come to you as some ugly, nasty thing, because then you'll be like, well, no, none of that.
So you're saying that it's staying true to the character, if anything.
Yes. Yes. Secondly, who cares? It's a TV show.
As far as the petition went, there's not 1 million signatures on there. There's very few on there.
Because people are going, who cares?
Less than 1% of what makes up 1 million moms have signed this petition.
Because the moms are going, who cares? I'm like that little owl I sent you a picture of.
Which one?
The one who's going, who cares? I can see why they're upset.
to me, I'm like, okay, but Constantine's okay, and like any other character, if this character were named anything other than Lucifer, they would not have even looked at this.
Exactly. And that's what it boils down to. This show could talk 10,000 times less about demons than Constantine does, and they will boycott this 10,000 times more than they did Constantine just because of the name. Some mom was watching TV and it said, "Watch Lucifer," and she went, "Oh!"
Think of the children.
Exactly. At the end of the day, this show is for a particular audience, and a very, very small number of people are gonna go, "Oh, Lucifer, I'm gonna watch that. Maybe I'll learn some devil things." I don't know. Let's be real.
If I were the king of television, I'd be like, you know what? We're going to air repeats of this after the 700 Club.
We're going to air repeats during the 700 Club.
Little picture-in-picture.
During the commercial breaks, it's just going to be Lucifer. This is why we do not rule television.
Like Neil Gaiman said, it's nothing to be worried about. It's a who cares problem, and it's just going to air. And honestly, it's based on a Sandman property, which is not widely recognized and probably won't get a second season anyway. So you and I are going to check it out, enjoy it, as we talked about it a couple of months ago when the first trailer came out. It looks interesting, and hopefully something that can sort of fill in that gap that Constantine left.
And if anything, this is just giving it more publicity.
Very true.
And I really hope there's that one mom who watches it, like, just to see how bad it is, because moms do that too. Like, they're against something, but they gotta watch it just to know. And then I want that one mom to be like, oh my, Lucifer.
I need to keep watching these just to write down all the evil things.
Yeah. So I can have more petitions.
He made me lost.
Hey, Lucifer is a really handsome guy in that show, I'm just saying.
That's right. So now we have some comic book news. Boom Studios Publishing has announced that Giant Days has been extended from a 6-issue miniseries to a 12-issue miniseries due to popular demand.
Woohoo! They listen to our podcast.
We've loved every single issue since it's come out.
They've all been wonderful. So to commemorate this, Boom will be re-releasing issues 1 and 2 as an oversized issue titled Giant Days Orientation Edition at $3.99. This will be on July 1st.
So there you go. No reason to not catch up on this series. 2 comics for the price of 1 with this oversized edition. And July 1st, so by that, there should be 5 out. I believe. No, 6 out. 6 out by July. Hopefully Boom kept 3, 4, and 5 in print. That way comic shops can reorder based on people that picked up 1 and 2 and they're like, oh, I love this, let me get 3 and 4. So that's really great news, and I hope that it goes from a 12-issue series to an ongoing, as long as they can keep telling a story. And it's not like the earlier Lumberjanes when they're like, oh shit, we got extended, let's put out an issue for now and figure out the next arc.
Right. No, this is great too, because for anybody who hasn't had a chance to pick this up yet, this is a perfect opportunity to start from the very beginning, to fall in love with these characters like we have, and jump on board something that has been amazing. Also, some great news from Boom. 20th Century Fox is putting together a live-action film based on Boom's comic book series, Lumberjanes.
I did not see that happening. I saw it becoming something, like maybe an animated series is actually what I thought, but a full live-action film? Wow.
Badass!
Lumberjanes will be adapted by Will Wedger, who's done Munchkin, and Boom executives Ross Ritchie, Stephen Christie, and Adam Yolen will produce.
I don't know any of those names, but I know Lumberjanes, and I am excited because it's a wonderful series. Great characters.
Would you adapt one of the arcs that we're currently on, or one of the ones that are completed, or would you do an original story?
I would do an original story, because I am worried with live action that the amount of supernatural stuff they have in it will be difficult to pull off. Because they've kind of created a world, and we've fallen into the world throughout all these comics, but introducing this, because you're really going to appeal to younger girls, hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully. And to expect them just to fall into that world in 1 hour and a half segment, I think will be difficult. So how I would spin this is, yes, you have this group of girls at camp. I mean, you could throw in there that they tell stories about all these mythical creatures or something, and then you follow their adventures, but ultimately all these things that they're seeing, they're just creating for themselves to have more fun at summer camp. That's how I would spin it. Mm-hmm. And I think that would appeal to a much larger audience rather than saying, oh no, all the supernatural exists.
Would you have preferred it to be an animated series instead of live action?
I think I'm happy with it either way.
Me personally, I think it would work really well as an animated TV show. Mm-hmm. I think more television shows should actually adapt these comic books instead of going straight into movies. I think Teen Dog would be another really good television show.
Yes, Teen Dog would be... You could not do live action Teen Dog.
Well, Teen Dog could be CGI, and then the rest of the world could be like live action. They could do that thing like in Garfield. Like, it could be done, but I would prefer for it to be done as an animated cartoon.
Right. Now, I would get a real dog and train him to talk.
From here on forward, we're going to move straight into movie news, not related necessarily to a comic book adaptation. Mm-hmm. First one being something we're going to keep spoiler-free, and that is with the recent Suicide Squad set photos, a couple of which have been huge in the plot point for the film, and we do want to ask, are there surprises anymore?
There will still be surprises.
In the general movie industry, like if you have a comic book movie, now you have these cameras that are amazing. You can shoot from hundreds of feet away and you can get vivid detail. There's very few places where you can't get a shot out of a movie that's actually filming outside. Or is it that movie studios are caring a little bit less and maybe they want some of those leaks to get out so that it can generate interest for this movie that they are filming? All in all, we didn't have anything like this when we were growing up with superhero movies. Mm-hmm. Granted, they weren't nowhere near as big as they are now. I'm sure if paparazzi were as interested as they are now with those movies, we would see a lot more. But with this and the internet and Newsarama and Bleeding Cool, Twitter, everything, can you be surprised by these movies?
Absolutely. I feel 100% that you can still be surprised by these movies. Because, sure, they're showing you, oh look, this is a major plot point, but you're not seeing it on the screen. You're not seeing it all put together. So, I could tell you, for instance, I read this book, So-and-so Dies. Is that the same as reading the book?
When Harry Potter came out and people said Dumbledore died, it ruined it for a lot of people.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah. Even though they didn't know who killed him or why. Like, they knew, like, Snape kills Dumbledore, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they read it, and I don't feel like it would have been as impactful as, like, in this case, a certain character in the DC universe is appearing in the Suicide Squad movie, which now you can't see the movie, and you're like, holy shit, this person's in it.
If the movie does its job, you are going to be so engrossed in that movie that knowing that they're there isn't going to matter. You're still going to be surprised when they show up. You're still going to be excited. You don't know when they're going to show up. They could be in the first 5 minutes. It could be halfway through the movie. It's still a surprise when they show up.
It's a good point. Another one is that this is all stunt work as well. We're not actually seeing any dialogue. We're not seeing the actors themselves, how they're interacting with the Joker or Harley Quinn or whoever. So with these stunt people, it's like, okay, so we're seeing a little bit of the action scenes, and that is it. We don't know how certain characters are going to speak when they're on screen and what the story actually is. So you're absolutely right. And something people are saying are like, well, you know, they're not really doing a good job keeping this on the wraps.
They don't give a shit.
It's like back when Nolan was doing the fucking Batman movies, you saw Harvey Dent running around outside with like the little spots where the CGI would have been on Aaron Eckhart. Like, you saw him walking around outside. You saw the fucking, the what do they call it? The Batwing or the Bat in The Dark Knight Rises. It was the Bat. Mm-hmm. And it was filming right down the street. People had, like, this still cam, like, footage, like, really good footage of the Bat, like, going down the street. It's like, there's a fucking Bat right there. And when you saw it in the movie, it was like, holy shit. Like, it was still pretty awesome.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. You take that as an example, and you're like, okay, this is like... It's like you're playing pretend, and then when you see it on the big screen, that's where you have the special effects. That's where you have the sound and the professional camera work. Not like this guy on his phone trying to film this. That's actual good work. And I think when you see all the pieces put together, that's when you see it as you should be seeing it. That being said, I think it's very difficult to avoid all of these spoilers.
And it will be, and it's only going to get more difficult as the years go on, as we get better technology.
But I don't think it'll ever be to the point where you're like, well, what's the point of seeing the movie if I could just put these leaked clips together? Well, no, you're still not getting any of the dialogue, any of the story, or any of the, like you said, the actual experience. You don't have the
background music, which makes such a difference that people don't even realize. I think it's one of the... I easily overlook it, and then you get to a scene where there's no music, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? Why am I uncomfortable?
Something I learned when I was doing film class is that if you don't notice the sound or the ambiance, that's good when you're watching a movie, because that means it's natural and you're in the scene. But when you do notice it in a way that it takes you out of the story, that's when they did kind of a shitty job on it. So absolutely, you're absolutely right. There's so much that goes into it that people overlook or don't think about because it is so well done. And when we hopefully see Suicide Squad, it'll be a better product, a much better product than we expect.
Much better than these shitty camera work we're getting now.
Right. So moving forward, we're probably not gonna cover spoilers like the ones that came out in the last 2 weeks, because I feel like it is big enough that someone that has been doing a really good job of avoiding all of this doesn't want that spoiled for them. So we're just gonna skip ahead of that. Say it's awesome that the DC Universe movies are tied together and they're doing it much sooner than we expected, but that's it. That's what I have to say about it.
I agree. I think something we all need to realize too, like, people are getting really mad that all these spoilers are going up, but eventually, I mean, nobody's really going to care anymore. It's going to become second nature, and you're going to see something that says Suicide Squad spoilers, and you're going to say, oh, yep, there's another one, and you're going to keep scrolling. So calm down, everybody. We did get the chance to see 2 movies this week, though. Not Suicide Squad movies. But the first one we saw was Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, first we're going to give our thoughts on the movie, and then we're going to share some of the broquettes out there, what their opinion was on Mad Max.
You go ahead and go with your thoughts first.
I thought it was really, really entertaining. I was, from beginning to end, I was stuck on the characters, I was stuck on the action. I was very impressed by a lot of the scenes, especially knowing that, okay, so that definitely wasn't CGI. When you're seeing a lot of the cars, the custom cars, the custom action scenes, the poles with the fucking guys on top of them, like, none of that is CGI when you're watching it. They did such an impressive job where they filmed and what they filmed with, that you see this and you're like, all of this is real, like, this is tangible. You can actually go to a set and see this actual car or see these props or see these costumes. It was very, very impressive. Like, it was such a visual feast, and the story isn't much. Like, it's very, okay, so this is what's happening, this is where they need to go, and this is what they need to do. Now here's how they get there. And that's where all that good stuff is. So I haven't seen any of the Mad Max movies. I was not lost. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. All of it was great from beginning to end. Just simple entertainment. And it's different like something like the Avengers or a standard action movie, in that there's very clever camera work in all of this. There's very good costumes, very great sets, and again, the custom cars and all of that. So there's more to it than just a standard action movie. It's filmed artfully at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Nope, makes 100% sense.
Your thoughts?
My thoughts? So, once upon a time, many moons ago, I saw this movie called Pacific Rim. And it's about, like, Godzillas and giant robots. And I thought that movie, Pacific Rim, was the most boy movie that had ever been created. And by boy movie, I mean a movie where boys get into a room and get drunk and just write boy things. But no, I was mistaken. Because Mad Max Fury Road is the most boy movie that will ever exist in life. Ever.
You know they're making a second Pacific Rim, right?
Oh, it will not top this movie for boy movie.
You know they're making a second Mad Max Fury Road, right?
Are they really?
Yeah. Last time I checked, Hardy was signed on for another 3.
Then that may top this one for most boy movie. But as of now, this movie wins the gold medal for most boy movie of my life. Because it's a giant car chase. Now, it was all entertaining. There wasn't really a story.
There sort of was after the first half of the movie.
There wasn't really a story. Okay. There wasn't really any romance. There was a boy amount of romance, but there wasn't really any romance. And During the car chase, we had to have heavy metal music on the front of our car while we're driving.
How else are you going to have a soundtrack in a world where there is no soundtrack music?
I guess you put a man with a guitar on the front of your car.
In front of a shit ton of speakers.
Yeah, okay, how do they have speakers if they can't have, like, CDs?
Well, he played directly into those speakers.
Well, right, so there was still electricity, so why couldn't they just burn a CD?
Nothing like having a man who just jams out in front of you for hours. Never runs out of energy. Who later becomes a part of a fight scene. Like, how cool is that?
I saw it once. I'm pleased I saw it once. I will only ever see it once.
That being said, what do you think about their effort to bring a lot of these female characters into the movie and integrate them so much into the storyline? People were very impressed by Charlize Theron, and she is a magnificent actress. Mm-hmm. So putting someone like her in this movie, I feel like really grounds it for a lot of viewers that are looking for something a little more substantial out of their movies. And people like myself were impressed because of that, because they took their time with the acting and the actors.
I agree. They did a great job of incorporating women, particularly in the second, I'd say really like the last third of the movie, showing that, you know, in this world, for the first half they're always put down and you see women as lesser, I guess. And then in the last half they really show that, like, no, these are actually some of the smartest people that you're going to run into.
That's development, yes.
Right. So you do get to see that development, and the characters that they had, I do feel were very realistic. There just wasn't enough of a story for me. And because I'm all about my story. And the other things you mentioned, some of the shots were great, and the special effects were great, and the fact that, you know, a lot of this stuff was actually real, and they were really blowing up these custom-made cars. That was amazing. And I don't feel like the amount of story that I wanted would have worked in this movie, and that's fine. But I wanted more. Like, I don't feel like I learned enough about everybody's backstory or why they're doing this or why they feel they need to do this. And then their conclusion at the end, while probably was the most logical, I would not have made that decision. So, I mean, there were just little things it was a good movie, but it just wasn't my kind of movie.
Okay, would you recommend paying to see it in theaters right now while it's out there?
If you're a boy, yes. If you're a boy, absolutely. Pay to go see it. If you can get your girlfriend to agree, rad.
If you like good actors, see this. Charlize Theron, I'm telling you, and Tom Hardy.
Yes. I mean, sure.
If you're sick of CGI, this is it.
Yes, I agree 100%. It wasn't the movie for me.
All good things.
I can look at it from a strictly commenting, that's not even the right word. What word am I trying to think of?
Critical?
Critical, there we go. I can look at it from a strictly critical point of view and understand why people are seeing this movie 2, 3, 4, 5 times in theaters. Understand why boys like this movie. Understand why it's getting as much praise as it is. I understand all of that. But it wasn't I felt empty at the end of it. And I don't like it when movies leave me feeling empty.
Alright, there's another movie that I felt way more empty about that we're going to cover. But first, let's hear from some of you brokettes out there.
So, at Yates Comics from Twitter said, Mad Max changed my life forever. I will never love again like I loved that movie. Unexpected fave for me. So there's my love story. We found it. That is the love story that should have been in that movie.
And Tim Yates loved this film. There you go. You're fulfilled now.
Yes.
There's your love story.
I found it. Thank you, Tim
Movie
Yates.
plus Yates. But I do want to remind everyone that Anne Bonny #4 is coming out Wednesday. That's June 10th from our friend Tim Yates and everyone else at Blue Juice Comics.
Wait.
What if he's so inspired by it that it's in one of the future Anne Bonny comic books? Like, you see Anne Bonny with oil on her head, like shaven head.
I mean, I'll go with it, and I'll still enjoy it.
She's being chased down by pirate ships, and they have, like, the hooks that slow her down, and there's a guy in a guitar.
The front of it, like, boom, boom, boom,
but it's got to be pirate themed, so it's a little parrot with an eye patch. Next, we have Mike from Facebook, who said, Mad Max was awesome, though I do believe Charlize Theron was the main character, not Tom. Plus, good movies always have good random nipple ring rubs and meth heads playing death metal.
Another question. So besides Max, do we know anybody else's name?
Furiosa was Charlize Theron's, which is Spanish for furious, makes sense.
Well, of course. Do we know anybody else's name?
The Immortal Joe.
Okay.
Who had the skeleton mask thing.
Spooky man.
There was Grandmother Willow, whatever the old lady.
It was not Grandmother Willow.
She kind of looked like her.
She kind of didn't.
But there were the old ladies from the desert.
Okay.
There. So there, 3 character names. That's really all you need.
There were like 5,000 characters in that movie.
Most of which died, so not really.
Okay. And finally, we have Christopher from Facebook, who says, Mad Max is chaotic, furious action ride. The perfect example of how to make a sci-fi-esque action film and leave out most CGI.
Absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much, Broquettes, for sharing your opinions and answering the question of the week. As always, you can find us on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke or on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. We, every now and again, will ask a question to share on the episode right here on the podcast. Or if you have anything you want to ask, we can do our best to answer it on the next episode.
So the next movie that we saw this week was Tomorrowland.
You're the Disney person, so you can review it first.
I wasn't... Okay. So I was so excited for this movie because Tomorrowland holds a special place in my heart. Deep down in my heart. And the best way that I can describe this movie is it's like... You know those people who try to tell jokes but they only remember the punchline?
Yes.
And so you get the punchline but then you don't get any of the joke, or rather the joke is told poorly. That was this movie. There was a whole lot of punchline and not a whole lot of joke.
Yeah, Tomorrowland, it had a good message behind it. The special effects weren't the best. And that one had as much story, in your opinion, as Mad Max, probably, because I also did not care about any of those characters.
I did not care about any of the characters. I feel it had more story than Mad Max because it tried to make you care about the characters.
I guess so.
Mad Max did not try to make you care about anybody, except that Grandmother Willow.
And Charlize Theron.
Yes. But I mostly just cared about Grandmother Willow. But not even that much. I think I cared a little bit more, but this movie, for what it told, needed to be twice as long to get in enough backstory for me to actually care.
Yeah, it's tough to fix this movie. Like, seeing it, I know it needs a lot of work. Maybe I felt like it could have used probably 2 or 3 more drafts on the script itself to really narrow down this script and the story and truly make it lean, because it was kind of all over the place with what they were filming and all the little action scenes, and they kind of tried to wrap it up at the end with Hugh Laurie kind of saying, like, this is why everything sucks.
See, and that was the problem with this movie, because they told you everything
instead of showing you.
Yes. I don't want the movie to tell me how I should feel. I want the movie to show me and make me feel that way. So, for example, with those 2 characters who might have sort of had a love story and then had a falling out, and then the thing happens at the end, I didn't care.
Right.
And I knew I should have, and I wanted to care so much because the story they had was a great one. They just didn't tell it well.
What did you think of George Clooney and his performance in Tomorrowland?
He was George Clooney. Like, do we expect anything else from him anymore?
You mean, do we expect anything worse from him? Because I don't. I like George Clooney now. He's another one of those actors like Matthew McConaughey who's gotten way better with age.
Yes, agreed. I don't think this performance was as good as Up in the Air. Mm-hmm. But I feel like he kind of saw this performance as a joke almost.
Like he wasn't taking it as seriously as his other roles.
Right. He didn't really get into the character, but again, with the script he had...
How could you?
Maybe he didn't care about his character either. You know, they didn't give him enough to work off of. I'm just like, you cranky old man. You're just trying to be a cranky old man.
And it did that thing where it went to the future, like in the year 2200. Like, it wasn't that far in the future, and people were wearing wacky shit and this wacky technology. And it's like, have we not learned from the old shows that were like, in the year 2000, there's going to be moving sidewalks and flying cars and all this other stuff? And
Right. You think we would have learned. It was a great concept. The thing that pissed me off about this movie, too, is, they have to go and save this futuristic world from this problem that nobody can solve, right? Mm-hmm. But they are all the greatest minds in the world, and none of them can solve this problem?
No, because we have to have our main character who's like, why haven't we done anything to fix this? And
it was a great message.
Yes.
Great message that I think people should really genuinely care more about. That gets overlooked a lot. But Tomorrowland. And Sunny Eclipse wasn't even in there.
Explain to listeners who Sunny Eclipse is.
Sunny Eclipse is from the planet Zork. He's an alien who comes to cosmic rays in Tomorrowland at Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom and plays on his astro organ, which he bought from a pawn shop in outer space. And he sings about 5 songs on a 20-minute loop. YouTube Sunny Eclipse and just enjoy all that is Sunny. He's
an animatronic in a restaurant at Disney. There. That's what Sunny Eclipse is.
He's the scariest shit I've ever seen in my life. He's fucking terrifying. He's like a green-skinned ginger who looks kind of like a giraffe, really. A little short giraffe. But I love him so much.
And he wasn't in the movie.
And he was not, like, I wanted, like, a poster, like, playing live tonight, Sunny Eclipse, something. Just something
a little
Sunny.
reference.
Yeah, but, I mean, we saw Space Mountain.
You saw Space Mountain. You saw It's a Small World, which is a huge staple of Tomorrowland. Oh, wait, it's not.
Fantasyland. But, you know, they were just trying to give a meaning for It's a Small World still being in the parks. Because the wait's always 5 minutes. Nobody really goes on that ride.
If they can redo that ride to sort of reflect what they did in the Tomorrowland movie, that'd be really cool. Like, you can still have the ride, and then you can have that second part of the ride where it's that part of Tomorrowland, which I don't think is going to happen now because this wasn't as successful as they expected it to be.
Well, they didn't market it well either. We discussed that. They did not market it well at all. They did the 13-minute preview at Epcot where Captain EO is, and I think they expected that to drive more people to it than it actually did. Like, that was their cheap marketing. They're like, let's do this, it doesn't cost us, like, anything, and we'll get enough people. And I hope that makes them realize, like, no, you actually have to get it out there.
Even if your movie opens on Memorial Day weekend, you gotta give a shit about it. You can't just say, well, we're gonna open it on Memorial, let's save on marketing. It's not always going to work, and an example of that is Tomorrowland. Mm-hmm. We're also going to share another thought from Christopher as well from Facebook, who said, I felt Tomorrowland was a fun-filled ride. Directions a little meh, but it's a solid watch.
I agree.
I would maybe rent it. Although, now that I've seen it, I wish I hadn't seen it.
Really? That bad for you?
Yeah, I really did not care about this. Hugh Laurie, that clip with Hugh Laurie talking near the end, like, that could have been, they can splice that, throw it on YouTube, and it's like, that's the best part of Tomorrowland right there.
Well, I mean, that's the punchline.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to tell the joke, well, at least hear the punchline.
And then he tripped on a banana.
And I'm sure there's a funny joke behind that.
That's what they need to put on the DVD box. Tomorrowland, and then he tripped on a banana. And now you know what the movie's about. It's perfection. I should get paid to talk about this shit. It's perfect. Can somebody make me that cover, please?
Do it. Send it to us at Reasons I'm Broke. Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke. All right, now we move video game news.
Video games. Yes, video games.
No bananas involved here.
Can that be the title of this?
Sure, and then he tripped on a banana.
And then he trips on a banana. We're gonna get so many more
Not
followers.
slipped, he tripped on a banana.
Yeah, he like tripped over it. He didn't step on the banana, his toe hit like the corner. He just fell over. Was Tomorrowland.
Couldn't even fall right.
Couldn't even fall right. Poor Tomorrowland. Is this gonna be like the reject child of Disney movies for the rest of forever? Because Mulan 2 was pretty bad.
All those Disney sequels were pretty bad.
With Native American Shang Li.
Mulan 2 is on Netflix right now, Brokettes. It's on Instant Queue. Watch it. Like she's saying, Shang Li, near the end of the movie, he falls in the river, and when he comes out, he's about 2 shades darker, and he's got a Native American clothing on. Like you said, he goes from Chinese to Native American in the movie.
It's perfect. Must be that river bend that Pocahontas went down. All the Disney movies are connected.
Just around the river bend, you'll get
Shang
browner.
Li. We need to watch Pocahontas too, by the way. That is also up on Netflix. We should do a special of all our thoughts on the Disney sequels.
We should.
Let's make this happen.
We have Arkham Knight news.
Yes.
Pre-order bonuses have been revealed.
Yes, so Gotham Future Skin Pack will have Batman Beyond and The Dark Knight Returns.
Makes sense, both from the future. PS4 owners will also receive exclusive content, including a Justice League 3000 skin for Batman, a classic Batman 66 skin for both Batman and the Batmobile, and early access to the Scarecrow Nightmare missions.
All sound like great bonuses. I do have to ask though, so this skin pack, are they both from tomorrow? Like,
yes, they're from tomorrow.
Tomorrowland.
I gotta tell you, they somehow screwed up the Batman Beyond skin when they had already nailed it in Arkham City. That I don't get. They took the Arkham Knight costume and they put a red Batman Beyond symbol on it and colored the belt like silver and red, and they're like, that's the Batman Beyond suit. Like, fucking import the Arkham City one. If you can't import it, just take that as a model and use it and put it in this one.
Are you still gonna buy it?
Of course I'm gonna buy it, but I'm just saying, like, this is just... Like, how was this such a misstep? How was this a mistake?
Because it's cheap as fuck.
Because it's free.
Yeah.
Unless you don't pre-order it, then you have to get it in the season pass.
Well, I'm just saying, this costs them nothing just to recolor it.
I'm just saying, if I were a bigger Batman Beyond fan, I would not be happy with this.
Well, yeah, probably, but you would still buy it.
And I would not use Batman Beyond. I'd be like, this is the fucking Arkham Knight.
Or you might just learn to accept it.
So you accept this Batfake costume?
What if, so we had season 1 through 3 animated series Batman in the last one, right?
Yes.
What if they made this season 4?
I don't know if I would use it, really.
Oh, come on.
I'd be like, that's not really the animated series.
Don't even. You would use it.
I am the guy that bought this season 4 Batman the Animated Series action figure.
Okay.
But that was me voting, like, I want more of this stuff. And then they brought out more season 1 through 3 Batman stuff.
And if you didn't play with that one, then they would never bring out an animated series anything in
they
their
won't
games
know
again.
if I'm playing with that.
They would know. They're tracking.
Will you agree with me that it's not a good Batman Beyond skin?
It's not. They should have used the other one. I agree 100%. But they used this one. People will still use it, and it costs them nothing.
Dark Knight Returns skin looks good. Mm-hmm. I think the Arkham City one looks better.
See, there you go again.
Okay, here's the problem. Here's what they did. They took the actual model from the new Batman game, and they just recolored certain outfits in the game instead of actually making a new model for that new skin. Like in the animated series, a model for Arkham City is way different than what the actual Batman you play as in the game is.
Yes.
I have a feeling that if they were to do an animated series skin for this, they would just do a light gray coloring on the Batman suit, a big yellow oval on the chest, the black trunks, the blue and black cape. They'd be like, that's the animated series skin. It's like, no, do it like they did in the Arkham City and actually do a model for that skin.
Now, if they did what you just described, would you play as him?
No, that's not the animated series Batman.
Yeah, you would.
That's just a colored like the animated series Batman skin.
Yeah, it's still an animated series.
I'll instead play as, I guess, the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Because I'm not playing as the Batman Beyond one.
You would still play as animated series.
And I'm not playing as the Justice League 3000 one. The Batman 66 one, they did a whole model to look like the Batman 66 Batman.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to justify and like make them seem like better people.
Can they delay it another 3 months
No.
so I can get my animated series?
No, and they're probably sitting there like, what are you guys complaining about? Like, we already had to delay it to make it a better game. You're gonna get the best game you've ever played in your life. Stop whining. We could have, you know what, no skins for anybody. Now nobody's getting anything. You're gonna buy the season pass, you know what you're gonna get? You're gonna get shit. Nothing. You all complained, and now we're done.
Knowing me, I'd be like, well, if you're gonna half-ass them, yeah, don't put them in there. It's nitpicking. Like, none of these skins am I really like bent out of shape for. No, I'm not. It's like, oh, whatever. I don't care about Batman Beyond. The Dark Knight Returns skin looks fine. Justice League 3000 skin looks great. And the fact that we have different Batmobiles is really awesome. I didn't expect that. So I am happy about that. It's just, that's the one thing that was really jarring for me. Like, what the fuck? That's not Batman Beyond. That's the Arkham Knight.
That's
not
the only your thing. Batman Beyond.
It's not Batman Beyond. There's only one. What do you mean there's not my Batman? There's only been one Batman Beyond. Even in the comics, he looks exactly like the animated series.
This is going to be his Batman Beyond.
I really don't believe that.
I do. It's going to happen. You just wait. They're going to bring out like a figure of this, and some kid's going to come and be like, oh, it's my Batman Beyond. He's going to say my Batman Beyond. And then you'll know.
Either way, we're really excited for Arkham Knight. It's coming really quick. By this time, I think in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we'll be playing it.
That's awesome. And then no more podcasts.
That reminds me, too, that Sony's side, there was a leak about a PlayStation 4 system that will have a 1 terabyte unit. I'm sorry, 1 terabyte unit.
1 gig.
You can't even download the basic stuff.
Nope.
The terabyte unit is what I was sort of waiting for. And then they brought out the bundle with Arkham Knight, which you get for free. So I'm like, okay, that's fucking $60. The terabyte unit costs like $55 if you can get it on Newegg or Amazon or wherever. So it's kind of like, okay, so I get the $460 and I get the 1 terabyte unit with Arkham Knight. Done. So that's what I went with. But with this 1 terabyte unit, a lot of people were confused. They're like, isn't that what the Arkham Knight bundle was? No, it's a regular 500 gig model and you get the game for free. That's why it's $400. I'm curious as to whether the 1 terabyte unit will be announced at E3, and if it is, if that'll affect the pricing of the Arkham Knight bundle, or if the collector's edition will become the 1 terabyte unit. That's what I don't know about. And some people say, well, what's the big deal? You can just swap out the hard drive, same thing. The new model actually also uses up less power and uses more updated parts. Working at GameStop all the 8 years that I was there, I know that, like, yes, you want the newer model because something that they've been building, something that they've noticed throughout the years of that console's lifespan, they had to change and they had to replace for better parts. And that's sort of why it's good to wait and not get a launch model. So that's something I want to know about with the 1 terabyte unit.
Mm-hmm. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully they will announce it before the game actually comes out. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, E3's before it. If they're going to do it, that'd be the time.
Mm-hmm. I want them to wait till the game comes out, though, and we all buy up all the stuff they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, either way, I have a terabyte hard drive waiting in anticipation. If anything, I can maybe try to flip it, but we'll see.
Anybody want to buy a terabyte hard drive? Sony's totally not coming out with one.
This is all speculation, purely.
We just made that up. We saw like a poster for it in that Tomorrowland movie. It said like Sony terabyte on the wall, and so we just
classic
assumed.
Consoles, yeah. We also want to give a huge thank you to Broket Mike. You can follow him at Mr_MOTT on Twitter. He actually gave us an exclusive Bravest Warriors Tales from the Hollow John #1 straight from Loot Crate.
Yes, thank you so much. The cover was so cute.
The little Loot Crate boxes, it's the Bravest Warriors. They're each holding one, or they're hugging one, or they're being chased by one. And each of the Loot Crates has a face on it, and one of them's trying to kiss, I think, Beth, and she's like, oh, I don't want to kiss you. It's even polybagged, too, so it's really cool cover, and huge thanks to Mike for thinking of us and us being fans of the Bravest Warriors.
So as some of you know, we did not have a traditional podcast last week. We did have a recording of our panel at Omni Expo 2015.
And we do want to share our thoughts about the convention, about the panel itself as well, the Brokeheads that were out there for the show, and for all of you out there that couldn't make it, or if you're based out of Florida, we did upload it last week, the full panel as an audio file.
So this was the first time that I had ever been to this convention. Have you gone to it previously?
First time as well, yeah.
And I was really, really impressed. There were a whole lot of cosplayers there, and I was like, oh, I wish I had a cool costume. But these costumes were amazing. You can definitely tell, like, the best of the best were here. Even their showroom, obviously compared to MegaCon, didn't have the same size, but I actually liked it better because I could actually move around and see stuff. And there were some pretty amazing vendors there.
Yeah, there was some really good stuff too. Not too expensive. You can work out some deals with a couple of the vendors. The only thing is there weren't as many people there as you would have at MegaCon, but I felt like all the pieces were there for Omni Expo and for anyone to have a good time. The exhibitors were there. You had artists. You had an artist alley. You had all the stars from Attack on Titan. If you're bigger on anime, this was definitely the convention for you. If you like Attack on Titan, all those characters, all the voice actors were there for you. And there were various panels concerning the certain voice actors, maybe one or two or even all of them. So there was just a number of things you can do, and the actual venue itself was huge. You had plenty of hallway space for people that were in cosplay with bigger costumes. They can take pictures. They had the bar area. They had various restaurants. They had even a swimming pool there if you really felt so inclined.
They had an amazing gaming room, too. We didn't actually walk in it, but we walked past it enough, and it was a good-sized room. Lots of people, tons of TVs.
I took a look inside. Yeah, there were consoles, televisions, arcade cabinets, projector right there, so you can play Smash Brothers on the huge projector.
That's awesome.
It was all in there, and it looked great. And then the panel itself, it was well organized. We had plenty of room, and the panelists that were before us, they came out. That was all organized. They checked wristbands. Everything that Omni Expo did was right. Everything was really there. Again, it's not a comic book convention. It is strictly anime. And we did do a podcasting panel, which, again, huge thanks to everyone who came out. And it was a lot of fun. Our first panel that we've actually ever done. Yeah,
it was. It was a whole lot of fun. I loved that how many of us from Nerd Up Media showed up for it. And when you get us together, obviously, hilarity ensues.
Exactly. Yep. For anyone that was waiting for that Nerd Up Media crossover, you got it. Hope you enjoyed it.
And we do have a very special contest announcement, but before we get into that, we do want to remind everyone about our Audible trial offer.
That's right, you get a free audiobook with your trial when you sign up at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
So, Brokettes, you all get a free audiobook download of your choice, along with a free 30-day trial. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
All kinds of stuff up there on Audible. You have video game audiobooks. You have various novels that can be read to you. If you're listening to a podcast, you can listen to an audiobook on your way to work, on your way to do errands, whatever it is. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. So contest.
Yes.
3-week contest we're announcing right here.
3-week contest.
Why is it 3 weeks? Because not everyone listens to the latest episode the week of release. We do have plenty of downloads weeks after the certain episodes start. I know people out there probably listen to more than one podcast than just ours, or are behind. Maybe they go on certain trips on certain parts of the month, and that's where they catch up with the shows. Whatever it is, we want to give Brokettes enough time to enter the contest. So 3 weeks from now, we will announce the winners. So this is episode 1, 2, and then 3, right? We're going to have the winners for this.
Yes.
What you have to do is you have to write a review on iTunes or on Stitcher about the podcast, and let other people know out there to help other people find us, and then take a screenshot of it. You can tweet it at us at reasonsimebroke, or if you'd like to email it, you can email it at thereasonsimbroke@gmail.com. Of course, you could also send it to us along on facebook.com/thereasonsimbroke. But you just send us that screenshot of the review, and you will be entered into your name will be entered into a hat where we will draw 3 winners from. And the 3 winners will get decals, Nerd Up Media decals, which we have been teasing and probably, we were talking about offering them on the shop, but we're actually going to do a giveaway for these. So 3 of them. 4 reviews on iTunes, again, or on Stitcher. If you have another place where we're offered, like maybe SoundCloud, I don't know if they do reviews on there, but primarily iTunes, Stitcher. If you do one for each, you know what? You get 2 entries. If you do one on Stitcher, if you do one on iTunes, that's 2 entries. So boom, there you go.
What if they copy and paste? Can they copy and paste?
The same review on both?
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay.
So you can do you do a star review, and then there's a little written portion, and that's where people actually read, you know, what you have to say about the podcast. If you already left a review, take a screenshot of your review, and you'll be entered. So you're not excluded from this if you left a review early. If you were awesome and have left us a review by this time, great, huge thanks. Take a screenshot, send it straight to us, and you'll be entered.
Does it have to be a good review? What if I put 1 star and just put meh? Will I be entered?
It won't help your chances.
The paper may get lost on the way to the hat.
There's no quality here. This is strictly there will be... just submit your review. If you're looking to help, this is all to help out the show. This is what it's for, and to help you guys out as well by entering in to win one of these decals.
And really, if your review is 1 star and a meh, why are you listening to us anyway?
That's true. Why do you want a Nerd Up Media decal?
So they can rip it up.
I'd be like, you know what? They went through a lot of effort.
Here you go.
Send me a picture of it ripped up. It's going to be hard to rip that up. It's actually plastic.
Well,
but,
maybe,
you know.
maybe they burned it. I don't know.
Well, you know. Again, at Reasons I'm Broke, Facebook.com/The Reasons I'm Broke. I will be posting up a picture of the decal sometime this week. Mm-hmm. And we will be reminding Brokettes about this contest for the next couple of episodes.
Awesome.
Hopefully you guys enter, and best of luck.
Mm-hmm. And so that was our last bit of news. We can now jump into our comic book pull list of the week. A good number of indie books. We have 2 Marvel books and some DC.
That's right. We're going to kick it off with a book that is on the chopping block for us, and that is Bravest Warriors number 33.
This is written by Kate Leth with art by Ian McGinty, Adam Del Rey, and Jake Myler, and the colorist is Lisa Moore.
They saved themselves this time.
They did.
This is, I feel like, what the book should be at all times. And yes. I will tell you, the book is suffering because at the comic shop that I work at, we are ordering almost just subscribers at this point. Like, only a couple extras on the shelf, and those extras aren't really selling, unfortunately. No one's buying them. So this one, I feel like, is the direction they should be going in. Don't focus so much on the longer story arcs. Make these little one-shot stories like The Bravest Warriors number 33. However you may feel about it, this is the truth. It is a children's book. Like, the cartoon itself isn't necessarily child appropriate. Even the comic book, you can argue, depending on your stance on what you don't want your kid exposed to, because there is a gay relationship in this.
Right.
And it's fine. It's just a love story in the comic. And the story is simple enough as well that anyone can enjoy it. And that's where this comic succeeds. And that's why I like this more than the last 4 issues, I think it is.
Like 7 issues. I did really, really enjoy this one also. It was a little standalone story. It had mystery and intrigue and so much humor. And even the backup stories tied into the initial story.
Yes.
Which made it even funnier.
It was brilliant because in the regular arcs, they're like, okay, so that's the main story, and this backup story is going to be another arc story, instead of it just being like, okay, well, here's the extra stuff like in Uncle Scrooge. Like, they don't continue those stories, the mini stories at least, into the next issue. They're just like, here's something short, little snack for your mind, enjoy it.
Little piece of toast.
That's what this book was all about. Right on the fucking cover is the Toast Man. I don't even know his name.
I don't know, Jelly Kid or something.
He's a little robot thing.
No, he's a jelly alien.
He's an alien. He goes, pew, and immediately a toast comes out of his mouth.
I would, man, that would be like my favorite anything ever. I'd just be like, toast me, and he'd be like, pew, pew.
How's that work? Watch Bravest Warriors on YouTube. It'll all be explained.
Jelly Kid. I'm pretty sure his name's Jelly Kid.
Probably Jelly Kid.
I think it's Jelly Kid. So, yes, Bravest Warriors has saved itself. Barely.
We'll see how the next one goes.
Not dropped yet. Our next book is Samurai Jack number 20. This is the final issue. It's written by Jim Zub with art by Andy Soriano.
Also better than the last couple. Although, do you disagree?
No, it was better than the last few. I have mixed feelings on this book. You talk about it first.
This is the ending that we've both been asking for quite some time. And this is a darker ending than we expected. This is not the Cartoon Network next season that I think we would have gotten in an alternate universe if the show continued for some reason.
Yes.
This is you know what, Samurai Jack, maybe he doesn't get back to the past. Maybe he just accepts that this is his future, and we move forward with that. that is interesting. That is different than what the cartoon would have done. And he becomes a little bit different because of that. He takes his skill that we all know that he does have and becomes a big leader from it and becomes a little bit more jaded. And then the story leaves you there. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, like, why couldn't you do this the entire time?
I think the reason I have mixed feelings on this book is because it's not the ending that I wanted. We all wanted Samurai Jack to go back to the past and defeat Aku, and then we're all happy with life.
This is the ending I didn't know I wanted.
Yes, and I appreciate this ending. It is the most realistic and possible ending. Like you said, it is very dark. It does hold a good message for everyone. Mm-hmm. And the message is, the place you think you need to or want to go is not always the place you're going to go. So you need to learn how to best your obstacles with what you have in the situation that you're in. Mm-hmm. That is a beautiful message. It was executed very well in this book, but it wasn't the ending that I wanted. And for that, I like, my Samurai Jack hopes and dreams died just a little bit, and I cried. But it had more story than Mad Max or Tomorrowland. So for that, I applaud you.
And you see some of your favorite characters from the cartoon, from the comic book series.
Well, and I loved that they showed what an impact Samurai Jack made on all these different people. So it wasn't, he was going around just being himself and helping people, because that's what Samurai Jack does. And they're showing you that, hey, look, he actually changed lives by doing all of this, even when that wasn't really his mission or what he thought he was doing. But it wasn't what I wanted.
Well, you never know. There was a little message at the very end by Jim Zub, who said, if you guys want to see more Samurai Jack, write to IDW, let them know you want to see more, but I don't see another thing happening. If they do, they could always have him still travel to the past. Like, oh wait, I know all of this from the future, but I'm going back to the past and stop Aku, so I never end up in this darker future. That can still happen, but if it doesn't, I'm happy with this ending.
You know what
this
song?
Cliffhanger ending.
You know what song they played at the end of this? He didn't go back to the past, Samurai Jack. I loved that song.
Well, like you said, he ain't going back.
He's not, and I'm so sad. And even as like this ended, all I could think of was, well, that's the end of him.
Well, he's got a bushy beard now. It's on the cover. It's awesome.
That's not gonna save him from this evil overlord.
That's all you need. Like, it's all about appearance.
Okay.
That evil overlord's going to be overcome by his awesomeness.
He's going to be like, oh, I wish I had a beard as nice as you. Oh, no!
I didn't know you could look so rugged.
When did Aku become gay for Samurai Jack?
And lose his accent.
Is that why he transported him to the future, so they could be together without the stigma from his family?
It was just a waiting game for Aku. Okay. That's all it was.
And now the wait's over because he's not trying to run away from him anymore.
That'd be an awesome issue
he's
21.
He's running to him. Where Aku admits that he's loved Samurai Jack all these years. Like, yes. Samurai Jack busts in to fight him, and he has, like, candles and roses and a nice dinner.
I'd be like, you're alright, Aku.
Sit, Jack. Let's talk.
We can talk about the past.
And then it turns out that they used to be in love, but then Samurai Jack got, like, he forgot. He got amnesia.
And that's the future Jack that you see now with the beard, and that's why he's so different than a samurai. That makes sense. Done.
I just wrote the next arc.
I'm buying it. Next in the book we have is Swords of Sorrow number 2 of 6, written by Gail Simone, art by Sergio Fernandez Davila, and colors by Jorge Sutilx.
Sutilx.
It's a colorist. He's got to have a goofy name.
His name should have just been Sutilx.
Sutilx. There you go.
That sounds like a Pokemon. A wild Sutilx appeared.
It could be still. It'd be psychic type for sure.
Definitely. I was thinking steel type. So this is actually my pass of the week.
I did not see that happening.
Really? Why is that? Because it's a Gail Simone book?
Because it was a pretty solid book.
Let me tell you what happened in this book. Can I describe this book?
Go for it.
I don't know who you are. Let me fight you. How dare you hurt my friend? I'ma fight you. I'ma pull your hair, bitch. Ah!
Oh, no, wait. We have a common enemy. And
so
I understand. It's kind of a cliche comic book story, but...
Yes. I have the same problem with the second one that I did with the first one, is that it jumps around a lot and I don't feel like it transitions well. Because you have 4 pages of Sonya fighting...
Deja Taurus.
Wonder Woman, and then and then suddenly you jump to Tarzan and Jane.
And Vampirella.
Okay, then you jump to Vampirella for one page where she goes, "Don't eat me, dinosaur!" And then you jump back to another 4 pages of Sonya versus Wonder Woman. And then we go back to one page of, "Look at my horses!" And then we go back to another 4 pages. Like, it doesn't... It's choppy.
A little too jarring, yeah.
Yes. There are so many characters in this, which I think is good, but I know so few of them that I'm not interested.
I get that too. I feel like if you are into Red Sonja, Gail Simone's Red Sonja, there's enough here to hold you over. I understand, like, I didn't care either if Vampirella got eaten or not, or Jungle Girl, and that's fine. But the main bulk of it was Red Sonja. So I felt like all of that was like, okay, well, let's get through this to get to the Red Sonja parts. It's kind of like the Red Sonja were the marshmallows in your cereal. Like, you just want to get to that.
I get that, but I feel for this book to be successful, I shouldn't go, let me tough through this page to get to the part I really want to read. It should be, holy shit, I knew nothing about this character and you made me love them.
Yeah, very true. I think overall, Gail Simone's project of having all-female creators, I think it's still a successful thing. We have plenty at the comic shop. We did order it good enough. But the story, I think we can both agree, is not as strong as her Batgirl run or her current Red Sonja story.
Agreed. And the villain's still whole motivation is, let me fight women.
Yeah, that's basically it. With women.
Yes. I'm gonna fight these ladies with these other ladies. Because I don't like the way they look. Okay, sir.
Hopefully it'll shape up in the next issue, which at that point it'll be halfway over by then. Do you like this more than Conan Red Sonja or less?
No, less.
Okay.
I really liked Conan Red Sonja because they was gonna get it on.
I was curious how you felt with that comparison. All right.
No.
Cool.
Our next book is our first of 2 Marvel books. It is Giant Size Little Marvel AVS #1. This is written and drawn by Scotty Young with colors by Jean-François Belleloulou.
Close enough. I don't know how to say that last name, but yeah, Jean-François.
Beaulieu, probably.
Belleau, yeah.
Beaulieu.
So we had a Little Marvel about a year and a half ago, I want to say.
It was a long-ass time ago.
It was when that first Avengers vs. X-Men, like right when that was wrapping up, I think. And now we have it come back for Secret Wars, which it is technically a Secret Wars tie-in, even though it is kind of a standalone thing. It is a miniseries. We don't quite yet know how long these will be. But as far as this one goes, it's kind of like Civil War and the Avengers vs. X-Men put together into one comic. But it's all over like little things, like a hot dog stand or who can sell them more food or someone messing up with someone else's business. So it's cute. I like it. I think it's right up there with like Teen Titans Go. Like it's a very charming kids book that anyone can enjoy. And the artwork is nice to look at. I think Scotty Young's covers I've kind of outgrown them because there's so many out there now, and I feel like he's not really putting his all into each one. But this comic book itself is awesome. Like, this is the Scotty Young work I was waiting for.
It is a very cute issue. I'm not as big into the Avengers or X-Men, but they made everyone very cute, very likable, and you're like, you kids. So many shenanigans.
I hope some of them make it into Secret Wars and become part of the mainstream somehow.
That would be awesome.
Next we have The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #6, written by Ryan North, art by Erica Henderson and Eloise Harrington, and colors by Rico Renzi.
Tuxedo Mask makes his first appearance.
That he does, yes.
No, it's Chipmunk Hunk.
It's pretty much Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, it's pretty much Tuxedo Mask.
There's even the roses around his fucking frame.
I am growing to like these more and more. Much more than I did the first few issues. And this one is still very enjoyable.
That's because there's a love story in it, finally. That's the only thing. I was enjoying the comedy, the good writing, the good artwork.
There wasn't a love story in the last one, and I really liked it.
Well, that's because he and Galactus, or she and Galactus became best buds.
Yeah. BFFs.
Oh, there you go.
BFFs in space.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's goofy. It's funny. If you like Howard the Duck, you'll like The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. I think the previous ones were my picks of the week, although this time this one is not.
No? It
Nope,
was
there's
close
a better
to
comic.
It was close to my pick of the week. I did really enjoy this one. So our next issue, we're moving into our DC number ones now. We have Bat-Mite, number 1 of 6. This is written by Dan Jurgens with art by Corin Howell, and the colorist is Mike Atiyeh.
I was so excited I am still so excited for the number ones because they're not over yet. Like, this is just the first week of the DC number ones. More than Convergence, go back to those previous episodes. You'll know that we are extremely excited for these more brand new, all-inclusive, brighter comics from DC. People want lighter, like, well, I want happiness back in the DC universe. Well, here you fucking go. You've got 2 books this week. 2 of the new number ones. I think there's 4 this time. Half of them are brighter comics. One of which is Bat-Mite number 1, and it is awesome. It is fun. It's a mini-series. It's written by Dan Jurgens, which I believe did the Future's End stuff, which we did not like so much. So I was a little like, I don't know about this one. But it's really funny, and it's really good. If you like Animaniacs, you will like this. If you like the animated series, you will like this. There's a lot. If you like the Pixar movies, there's some stuff in here for you as well.
This one was so much fun. I wasn't really looking forward to this. I guess I just don't know enough about Bat-Mite.
And you're not the only one.
Right. But I had so much fun with this. Like you said, it did feel like Animaniacs with the pacing and the jokes and it was all wonderful and it made me smile the whole way through. Not my pick of the week, but it surprised me a lot.
I think more readers should give it a shot. I feel like a lot of people are overlooking this one because they're like, it's Bat-Mite. But it's a book that a kid could read. It's a book that adults like us can enjoy, and it's a lot of fun. We both, I think, enjoy our more serious DC comics, but this is a great break from that. And half of their line is going to be, here's the serious stuff, here's the top 25 selling comics, enjoy that. And for everyone else, if you want something new, something fresh, you can enjoy this as well, and this is one of them.
Here's something that doesn't make you want to cry when you're done reading it.
Which is fine. It's not a bad thing.
No, I really enjoy those deeper, more heart-wrenching stories. But like you said, this is a very nice break. Pick up the first issue. If you don't like it, then don't get the second.
Next we have Batman Beyond number 1, written again by Dan Jurgens, art by Bernard Chang, and colors by Marcelo Maiolo.
I really enjoyed this book as well.
This one was actually my least favorite of the DC comics this week.
Really?
Here's the problem with this comic. It's Tim Drake Batman Beyond and not Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond. I still don't understand where in the writers' minds they got this idea of, let's kill off Terry McGinnis and make a Batman Beyond comic not featuring Terry McGinnis. I will always be of the mindset that Batman will always be Batman if it's Bruce Wayne. I'm not one of those guys that's like, Batman is a symbol. That's bullshit. Even if Bruce Wayne says it, I'm like, that's bullshit, Batman. You're Batman, not Dick Grayson. That's not Batman. That's Nightwing dressed up as Batman. This is Tim Drake in a Batman Beyond suit. Now, when Bruce Wayne was Batman Beyond in his Batman Beyond suit, I'm like, oh, it's fucking Batman. You know what I mean? So this is not Batman Beyond to me. It's Tim Drake. And I relate more to Terry McGinnis than I do Tim Drake because I've seen more Terry McGinnis stories. I've read more Terry McGinnis stuff. So I'm like, okay, Tim Drake is lost just like I am in this future world, which I guess makes sense to try to connect you with the story. But so far, it's sort of middle of the road.
Well, maybe this is their attempt to get you to like Tim Drake more, because I kind of feel like out of all the Robins, he's the one that we know the least about.
Maybe Jason Todd a little bit.
But we know that he goes, why didn't you kill him? Why didn't you love me?
Jason Todd was more developed, for sure, than Tim Drake.
Right, and I feel like this is a chance to develop Tim Drake. I feel in this world it's going to have to be him a lot on his own. Like, he's got AI Alfred, which is cool, which I really enjoy. But this is their chance, and if they play it right, to really develop him and show us, look, he can be on his own. And obviously we haven't read a lot about him, but I feel like he's never been on his own. Mm-hmm. He's always had Batman, or he's always had a team, or there's always been someone around him. So this is the chance for them to kind of say, here's this character that we don't really use. Let's pull him out of his comfort zone. Terry's obviously not dead. Terry's going to come back. Let's be real. Terry will be back. But this gives them a chance in this crazy world for us to go on a journey and develop with him, learning about all this kind of cray-cray nonsense that's going on.
just to me from a marketing standpoint, like it makes no sense. Like if you like Batman Beyond, then you relate to that character. Like that is your Batman for a lot of people out there. People that grew up with Batman Beyond, that's their cartoon and not the animated series. You're like, who the hell is this? Tim Drake? That's not Terry McGinnis. That's where I'm lost. Like that does not make sense. You're not gaining more readers by putting in Tim Drake. That being said, there are bright spots. Like you said, Alfred, and they have said that there is a Bruce Wayne that exists in this timeline. Even though Bruce Wayne died in that Future's End issue.
Yes.
So there you go.
And we do get to see Terry's little brother, who I think we're going to have some issues with.
We will. He may be a pseudo-villain.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun.
So they're doing some fun stuff with it. Well, like I said, we'll give it a couple of issues.
Yeah. Our next book is Bizarro, number 1 of 6. This is written by Heath Corson with art by Gustavo Duarte and Bill Sienkiewicz. Sienkiewicz.
Get used to it, because we're going to get all 6 issues of Bizarro, because this was fantastic.
No, it's my pick of the week. You can't pick it as your pick of the week.
It's not my pick of the week.
Okay, it's my pick of the week.
It was close, though.
Yes.
Gorgeous comic, beautiful story. If you like the Iron Giant, you will like this comic. It is very similar to that. Bizarro, it becomes... In the animated series, they made him into this very sweet character, right on the same level as Solomon Grundy in the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Like, they're going very close to that in Bizarro, and it's a comedy. It could be a cartoon. It could be a TV show. Like, they can easily adapt this first issue.
I would love little 10-minute shorts, 5-minute shorts.
One of the DC Nation stuff. Yes.
They did such a great job. Again, another comic that I wasn't necessarily excited for, but it's such a cute story. For those of you who have no idea what it is, Jimmy Olsen and Bizarro go on a road trip. and that's what it is, and it has so much potential to be so funny.
That's already a premise. Like, holy shit, where can you go from there?
Yeah.
And they go all over the place with it.
And this is just issue number 1. We have 5 more. We get a love interest in it, and I hope that she continues throughout the rest of the series, because I think she would add a lot of humor to it as well.
There's adult humor in there, too.
There is. Again, another book that both kids and adults could love. I like that Clark Kent has a Batman coffee mug. Can I just point that out?
That was my Superman Loves Batman moment of the week.
Yeah, play the theme song.
Yes, one of 2 other things that are coming, another reason to buy this comic and to subscribe to the miniseries. Yes, Clark Kent has a Batman mug.
Yep.
That gave me an idea, and I don't think they'll ever do it, but what if part of Superman's persona, you can follow me here, Superman's persona of Clark Kent is gay for Batman, and people that know Superman are like, oh, that's just a part of his persona. But it's Superman's chance to let out some of that tension of his love of Batman.
That's so smart.
Boom.
That's so smart. And the thing is, he would never think of that, though. So it would be somebody bringing it up one day. Like, is this why you do that? And he'd be like, yeah. Yeah, that's why. Because he would never think of that on his own.
True. So there you go, Superman Loves Batman moment of the week. Other thing, this book is fucking $2.99.
Yeah.
Worth more than that. Like, it was so entertaining, so fun. The art is gorgeous. Great comic. I can see why it was your pick of the week. Last comic and my pick of the week is Justice League number 41, written by Jeff Johns, art by Jason Fabok, and colors by Brad Anderson. This is a jumping on point.
Yes.
If you want to get in on the big DC event after Convergence, probably a bigger one than Convergence for sure, that is the Darkseid War. This is going to be a story in which the Justice League, they're caught in a war between Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor. And you're going to see that obviously they're not going to have everyone make it out of that. There's going to be some changes just like there was in Forever Evil. Stuff that happened in fucking Forever Evil are happening here still. Like, there was little things there. If you didn't read Forever Evil, not a big deal. Again, you can get most of that story here. There's going to be little bonuses if you did read Forever Evil, and you can go back and catch up on that if you want. But the bulk of it will be right here. The main story, Darkseid's daughter, all of it is right here. With number 41, which is my pick of the week.
Very good pick of the week. There was a whole lot that went on in this comic book, but I didn't feel lost. And I feel like even if you didn't read Forever Evil, you wouldn't feel lost.
they set up Mr. Miracle so well in this issue as well. Like, he's probably going to be the centerpiece of all of this. And I care about Mr. Miracle. I care about everything he went through as he was on Apocalypse. Even Darkseid, like, he's really cool in this issue. And I'm like, oh, he's a little bit cooler than the Anti-Mite. I'm kind of rooting for him, too. And then Batman gets his fucking ass kicked. And I'm wondering, like, why isn't Superman rushing immediately to help out Batman? And you didn't even answer that one.
Well, because we were going to talk about it on the podcast. I can't give away all my secrets, like, in the kitchen. Because then when I talk about it on the podcast, you're like, nah, I already heard it.
Already have a counter argument.
Yes. So, we just got out of, like, the whole issue. Like, it's still fresh in people's mind that Superman and Wonder Woman were in a relationship. And so, Superman can't be, like, rushing to Batman all the time, because then people will be like, so, why did you break up with Wonder Woman? Was it, because of Batman? And, like, he was really mad at Lex Luthor, and he doesn't really trust him.
And Lex Luthor was like, I have this weapon, and it really hurts you, Superman, but, it's not really because it hurts you that I built this, it's just the most efficient. And then something happens to Lex, and I'm like, oh shit, I even care about Lex, and I care about everyone that's involved, all the players. Jeff Johns set this all up perfectly in one issue. Like, yeah, it's an oversized issue, it's a $4.99 comic, but I felt like it needed to be to kick off the Darkseid War. Even Justice League number 40, which was a slight prelude to all of this, didn't do what this did, and this was like, here's everything, here's the introduction of these characters, now we're gonna see shit get real, and I can't wait to see everything happening in the Darkseid War.
I'm very excited for it too. I will say the one thing that bothered me about this comic though is obviously we see Darkseid's daughter, and I feel like the fight that ensued with the Justice League was way too easy.
It's comic book fights though, like they have to impress the readers, like, oh, she's really a fucking badass. Yeah, I know,
and I'm just like, really, chick, calm down. Like,
she's super cool though. Her design is awesome.
She is. Her design is great. I wish that I had the courage to shave half my head and cosplay as her. because I think she looks amazing.
Origin herself too. Half Darkseid, half a fucking Amazonian.
Yes. But still, it wouldn't have happened.
It's a little, like, it's a fight where, again, they have to show you what she can do. But aside from that, like, if she comes in between this war and somehow comes to work with the Justice League in some way, like, there's so many things that you can do with these characters. Like, Jeff Johns left the door open. Like, you can side with Darkseid, you can side with the Anti-Monitor, you can side with Darkseid's daughter. We don't even know.
How about I just side with Batman? Why do I gotta side with these other two?
Well, because Batman will probably support one of those characters. So whoever sides with Batman, all right,
Batman
fine.
Supports his damn self.
Not in that first fight, apparently.
Well,
he was just learning from her. That's
he
what
was just taking a nap. He's like, whatever. Just gonna go to sleep.
You think this hurts me? Nah. I'm fine.
I just ate too much for lunch. I'm feeling a little tired.
It's a great comic, Justice League number 41, and the final book we are reviewing on the podcast this week. My pick of the week was, of course, Justice League.
My pick of the week was a Bizarro number 1.
And I did not have a pass of the week.
My pass of the week was Swords of Sorrow number 2 of 6.
We do want to once again thank all the Brokettes out there for their answers to the question of the week, and of course to the gift, of course, from Mike, the Tales from the Holojon, to Audible for sponsoring the podcast, as well as Omni Expo for hosting a Nerd Up Media panel. You can check out the rest of the shows at nerdupmedia.com.
Don't forget about our wonderful 3-week review contest. You can leave us a review on either Stitcher or iTunes, and you will be entered in a drawing to win some card decals.
Yep, Nerd Up Media card decals. And of course, you can also get a Nerd Up Media t-shirt if you head on over to nerdupmedia.com/shop. We have a variety of colors, the newest one being pink.
While you're over there, you can check out all of our sister podcasts under our Nerd Up Media umbrella, such as Bacon in the Oven, Those Two Jerks, and Lazy Gaming Guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brokettes. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We'll see you next week.